Hi guys, welcome back to another video by me, Terra Newell. I'm going to talk about how I recovered from my traumas and what were some of the steps that I went to recover and what were the process. So first and foremost, I had the realization that something wasn't right with my trauma or that I was experiencing trauma altogether. So from there, I had the realizations that I actually went through the trauma and that I had different behaviors than before, or it was more extreme than it was before because I've experienced CPTSD also. And from there, I realized that I needed to go get help. So I went to seek help. I found a therapist in Austin, Texas, and I saw countless of other therapists beforehand. So I settled on one in Austin, Texas, and she specialized in trauma, and she did EMDR therapy, which is eye movement I can never say that right. Desensitization, repetition, and it's basically we worked with these buzzers and we processed different traumas that I went through, and it helps kind of rewire the brain. And also when you're using your buzzers, it helps keep you in the moment so that you're able to process your trauma and also stay in the present moment. So we did a lot of work with those, and from there, since I was aware of my triggers, we went to process through those triggers. And from there, I really processed through a lot of that. And then here comes the time when you kind of rewire your brain and you realize that you don't, like if a dog barks, it doesn't affect you like it used to. But then there's always sometimes triggers that come up that you're unaware of. And it's just one thing with trauma is when you work on something else may come up because the brain compartmentalizes your trauma. So when you process through that step, there's going to be maybe another step after that, or maybe another trauma. It just depends on how much trauma you experience and your triggers and everything. Trauma is just a complicated disorder. And I say disorder because the brain chemistry actually changes when you go through a trauma. And so part of EMDR is rewiring all of that. And then so now I'm at the point where I process through those triggers. And then now is the part where I start to hold myself accountable. If I start to realize that I have different triggers, then I go back to therapy. Or if I have different relationship problems and I'm being anxious, and I'll explain anxious, secure, and avoidant attachments in another video, but sorry, if I notice myself start to be anxious, because when you experience trauma, a lot of times you get these anxious people, and so you may feel like you are getting cheated on when really that is not the case. And with a partner, if you feel like they're withdrawing, then you feel like you're getting abandoned. So in therapy now, I'm holding myself accountable with my attachment and my anxious attachment. And when you get to that step, it's just all about self accountability and maybe having your therapist there to have a non-biased opinion or a life coach, because then you have forever self accountability with another person, and then you also have to have it with yourself. And that is how you heal from your trauma. It is a forever kind of ongoing process because things may come up and things may get re-triggered if you're in certain situations. So just always keeping your trauma in check. And some things that I really like to do for my trauma is I love to do yoga. I go to therapy once a week. I do yoga. I try to do it every day if I had my way, but I have to do it at least 3 days a week. in order to feel mentally stable. And also when different triggers come up, it also varies. Like I may need to add in a couple more days of yoga, and then I do breath work 3 times a week. And for breath work, literally you could just get the app, and it's called Breathwork app. And then you could do breath work, try maybe like 3 minutes, start from there, and put that throughout your day when you have these, like all this buildup in your life and you need to just take a moment, put it throughout your days, have your breath work throughout your day. And that just helps kind of restabilize yourself and bring yourself back to, okay, I'm here, my body's here. And a lot of the times, trauma is held in the body. So you need to work with your body also to move around your anxiety or any feelings in your body. So I do a lot of body work and a lot of self-awareness. And then I read every single night before I go to bed. I'll share with you guys my bedtime ritual another time, but bedtime is so important. So just keeping a really cleansing environment before bedtime and having no screen time and so on before bed. And that's been a lot of what's helped me. I have more things that I do, like tapping, to help me bring me back to the present moment. If I have anxiety, I also do this. I find it really helpful, and just becoming aware of your breath is so important. So that's some things that I do to help with my PTSD, and I hope that you guys got something out of this video and can put it to your life, and I hope that you guys have a great day. Bye.